Thank you very much, Aidan. Thank you also, Jonathan Rubenstein, all the organisers of this event, apart from the ones who put me after Liesl and Sana. And a special acknowledgement for our great friend and colleague, Jonathan Rees, who, as Aidan said, can't be with us today. So I've been involved with Nuix for 7 years now, the last 4 years or so as a non-executive director on its board. But my professional background, as you heard, is the world of intelligence and security, a world I inhabited actually for more than 3 decades, not just 10 years. That world is defined by the development and application of cutting-edge technology to tackle what are literally the globe's toughest challenges. I've been out in the wild now, working in the commercial sector for a shade under 10 years. And my message today will reflect some of my conclusions having inhabited each of those worlds, the secret intelligence domain of national security, but also the intriguing space where innovative commercial firms are creating new exemplars around detection, investigation, and knowledge capture. Ultimately, in my view, this is the epoch when the torch has passed from the secret world to the best in the private sector in terms of technology, analytics and analysis, and the application of those capabilities, the overarching thought leadership, and the necessary checks and balances to underpin that. I first met Nuix at the end of 2017. Their reputation for support to law enforcement went before them, but I rapidly discovered that it wasn't just law enforcement that represented a happy set of customers. I found that Nuix products stopped crimes, exposed falsehoods, underpinned security, and illuminated malfeasance or miscompliance or poor judgments or simple bad luck and the curse of perverse consequences. And I could see its potential to help solve one of the most important challenges that all of us face today, finding truth in the digital world. It is that extraordinary challenge and opportunity that drives my commitment to Nuix. Let me just say up front, I believe in this product, I believe in its purpose, and I believe in its people. So I'd like to put into context the goal of Nuix for people who employ its power. At its core, what brings us all together in this room is the need to solve critical issues involving technology, truth, and trust. And this is never so important as in the age of AI, where the speed of innovation has accelerated to days rather than years, where there are as many perilous pitfalls as there are opportunities, and where the price to be paid could far outstrip any benefits. Whether you are a client, a partner, or other member of the Nuix family, we all have the same goal: to get the best and most innovative minds and products we can to make data work for us, not against us. Part of this is taming technology. AI, like all powerful tools, can serve us or threaten us, depending on how it's used. Part of this is truth. Accuracy matters in everything we do, and so we need to be sure about the integrity of our information and systems. But most of all, this is about trust. The greatest source of all human security is trust. If you don't believe me, imagine driving to work, walking across a zebra crossing, or handing a server your credit card if you didn't trust other people. And to me, these three principles, technology, truth, and trust, today require more commitment from all of society than ever before, and they are the core of Nuix's mission. Today, we all live a good portion of our lives in digital terrain. This is a radical shift from just a few decades ago. When I started out in the intelligence services, in our 8-person office, we had just one computer terminal that we had to take turns to use. Few people then imagined that we would be managing data lakes, then oceans, and now virtual planets of data that are measured in petabytes and exabytes and yottabytes. Over time, though, our businesses, our personal security, our society, even our democracy, have become entirely dependent on the reliability, accuracy, and trustworthiness of that data. Which is why, today, the greatest threats we face reside in the cloud, in service, and in the devices that each one of us is carrying in our pockets right now. And when that authenticity is subverted, however that may take place, the consequences can be chaotic, even violent. And whilst there's plenty of hyperbole to be read in the media about it always being the most dangerous period in history for one reason or another, I honestly believe there has never been a more important time to rededicate ourselves to the mission of information integrity and security. That's what brings us to Nuix. That is what brings us all together today. So let me begin with technology. The first thing to remember is that we share common context and purpose. AI is both the challenge we face and the solution we seek. With the AI-driven tools we all have access to, everyone in this room has the potential to disrupt industries. We use an AI-powered app to call a ride. The transportation industry shifts. AI helps us find a place to stay. The hotel business transforms. We shop online through AI-driven recommendations. Retail has changed. Each of us is a content creator capable of leveraging AI to reach millions, shaping the narrative and influencing opinions. Even as we sleep, the data generated by our AI-enhanced wearables and smart devices fuels insights that drive further disruption. Change is happening through us and because of us, and it's happening at an ever-increasing pace. But the challenge is that AI is advancing so rapidly that we can barely predict where it will lead us. Throughout history, innovations meant to connect and uplift humanity, ships, aircraft, were quickly turned into instruments of war. Technologies that were developed to end conflict gave rise to the nuclear age, the threat of mutual destruction. Fossil fuels that once empowered societies now threaten our planet's future. And there's a similar concern today about AI. How do we ensure that AI enhances our understanding rather than confusing or overwhelming us? This can only be achieved by designing AI systems that serve human needs. We need AI to help us organize and analyze information, verify its sources and accuracy, as we have heard, and control how and when it's shared. And at Nuix, we approach this in two key ways. First, we design AI systems that perform these essential functions. And second, we share knowledge and experiences to better understand what we've learned and what more we need to know. AI can do a lot, but it still can't tell us what humans need. That's where our collective insights come in. And that's why our gathering here is so important. At a time when there is fear that AI is overtaking humanity, when we engage more with our devices than with each other, when AI-driven algorithms shape our debates, this is the moment when human-to-human exchange is vital. It's an opportunity to bring humanity back into focus, to guide AI technology with our values. And this is what Nuix is about. We bring structure and clarity to the chaos, making the digital world comprehensible. We identify what matters, distinguish fact from fiction, and teach and learn from one another. The second great challenge that we're here to confront is the destabilization of the truth, whether by concerted design or as collateral damage. E-discovery and investigations are engines for truth, for discovering the smoking gun. Adaptive security is an engine for truth, to discover who the bad actors are before they can act, to protect information from being destroyed or corrupted, and to expose false information before it leads to bad decisions. People are entitled to their own opinions. They're not entitled to their own facts. Facts are our common language. Scientists may speak different languages, but their equations, the data on which their findings are built, are a common language. The same is true in maths and in music, numbers, notes, scientific symbols, code. These are common languages. A note is the same no matter how it is expressed. An equation proved or it does not. An experiment solves or it does not. We solve common problems through the common language of facts. And that is why none of us can tolerate the corruption of data or the dissemination of false data that leaves us uncertain of how to act. Recent events remind us that truth matters. Nuix software helps find that truth. Nuix tools helped take a massive dump of unstructured data, the so-called Panama Papers, and make it understandable and verifiable by journalists. It exposed massive corruption and the siphoning off of billions of dollars in public treasuries. Our tools were used by the House Intelligence Committee of the US Congress to expose Russia's disinformation campaigns and its attempts to hack the 2016 election. It helped the Australian Royal Commission expose misconduct in that nation's banking system. It's helped identify human traffickers and traffickers in threatened and endangered species. In short, it's striking to me when I see Nuix's and our customers' fingerprints on some of the really massive issues in the media. Most prominently Ukraine, where we've provided over $1 million Aussie dollars worth of software free of charge to the International Criminal Court, along with discounted professional services to support the investigation of alleged war crimes. In the investigation of Volkswagen's Dieselgate, where Nuix was the solution of choice for multiple parties involved in the investigation, law firms, advisors, regulators. And I could go on. Support to the Direction Générale des Douanes for the Paris Olympic Games, to the Global Fund to fight AIDS, tuberculosis and malaria, to the Scottish Government's COVID-19 inquiry and the Scottish Government's child abuse inquiry, to the Welsh Government's COVID inquiry and to the Windrush inquiry. All these have been aided by the processing power of Nuix, a power that enables the extraordinary amounts of data to be processed, a power that uses big data to answer big questions, to turn information into intelligence, and ultimately, to make the world a safer place. But, as you'll hear, we are adapting our platform for what is to come. The pace and scale of disinformation will make discovering the truth harder than ever. For decades, we had trusted that if something was presented as news, it had been carefully investigated and documented, fact-checked and reviewed for accuracy by a responsible editor. By the time printed words and images reached our households, we had faith that they were correct. But technology has changed all of that. Digital information comes from all sources, including anonymous or spoofed sources, and many platforms don't distinguish between them. As deep fakes and AI like ChatGPT continue to evolve, the ability to create convincing but false narratives will only increase, making it easier to sow division and distrust. And when people don't know what is true, they either tend to place credence in narratives that support their own biases, or they reject any representation, believing nothing and acting accordingly. Either way, society begins to fracture. Increasingly, the most valuable asset of any organization is its digital data, and how that data is being stored, retained, deleted, deployed, represents a complex set of policies and processes that we need to understand and to be able to verify. And with this in mind, Accelerate matters. Accelerate can help. Getting feedback, sharing insights lets us shape our understanding of how to create true data security, attribution, ledgers, and the ability to quickly respond to false or corrupted information. The antidote to the world's truth decay is the work we do here. We craft investigative and security solutions to prevent corruption and to deliver truth around the world as rapidly as people now distribute false or corrupted information. We have blazingly fast engines, and they are engines of truth. And the function of the work we are doing, the reason why we do it, is that the people in this room are truth tellers. Sunshine is the best disinfectant, and at the moment, the seas of data in which we swim need a suntan. Which brings me to the final leg of my tripod, trust. In a time when the pace of life is overwhelming and information is conflicting, trust is hard to sustain. But societies are built on trust. It's the reason we can all drive home tonight after this event. We know that when we leave this venue, there'll be people driving 60, 70 miles an hour in the opposite direction in deadly hunks of metal who could kill us simply by sliding a few feet across a small white line. But we trust that they won't. We believe that they rate their life as much as we love ours, that they will obey the laws the same way that we do. If we didn't believe that, we could never leave our homes. It's true of our businesses, and it's true of our nations. And as the former director of GCHQ, the largest British intelligence security agency, not that it's a competition, it becomes blindingly obvious that there aren't enough weapons or walls in this world to keep us safe. Families, societies, and nations are held together by trust. As citizens, we expect a lot from each other. Obey the laws, vote, pay taxes, serve on juries, question your leaders, tolerate differences, defend your nation, potentially sacrifice your life for the lives of your kids. We'll only do all this if we believe most other people will as well. If you've ever been to a failed state, you know that they failed the moment they lost that faith in each other. And this day itself is an exercise in trust. Some of the companies in this room may be competitors to one another. But we know that no one of us has a monopoly on good ideas or good people, and we all need the same solutions. If one of our company's data systems fails or is corrupted, everyone in our industry suffers. Again, that's the spirit of this exchange. We earn trust and security when we extend trust. This is why I'm honoured to be with you all today. The people drawn to Nuix are truly extraordinary people. There is a special culture here. The people who create Nuix products and the people who use them are truly passionate about serving their customers, ensuring technology is used for good in the world. And every time I've connected at one of these events, I've learned new case studies and stories of how the technology has been used to avert terrorism in Europe, to prevent crimes against children, to tackle illegal fishing in the world's oceans. The people you'll meet here are truly purpose-driven and are committed to using their smarts and their sweat to create software that empowers their customers to catch the bad guys, to uncover the foul-ups, and to be a force for good in the world. So let me conclude. I said at the start that I felt that this was the epoch when the torch has passed from those in the covert, or at the very least confidential world of secret national security, to those in the private sector willing to reach out and grasp it. In the past, we may have been able to depend upon our governments and their intelligence, security, and law enforcement agencies to detect, to warn, to protect, to mitigate. That proactivity was based upon technology developed for multiple missions, on sophisticated analytics, and on painstaking analysis. Above all, it was founded upon a discipline of discovery, my favourite word as an intelligence officer, with its thrilling ramifications of joining the dots, establishing the facts, laying bare a deception, uncovering a truth, grasping significance, and triggering action. And now we've seen the imperative for this capability, this tradecraft, this mindset shift from those intelligence and security agencies, which often operate in the shadows and which are now under pressures that continue to mount. That capability, that tradecraft, that mindset are shifting to the actors in the commercial world. And I use the word actor in the sense of one who takes action. A shift to organisations like those in this room, to tech providers like Nuix, but crucially through providers like Nuix, to actors charged with finding truth in a digital world. And let me finish by underlining a professional tenet of faith from my old world. Data is only of any use if it is actionable at some stage in its life. I come from an intelligence agency swimming in secret data, but ultimately those secrets were only useful if they illuminated a risk, if they illuminated the degree of danger, an opportunity, an unseen truth. And I told my workforce that this was secret information, however cunningly collected and exploited, but it was precisely just that, secret information. It could only be labelled intelligence if it was actionable. And that's what I believe Nuix is allowing its clients to do, to make sense of data, to join the dots, to cohere the strands, to shape the themes, to see the facts, and to act. What if, leading to so what? Knowledge, learning, understanding, decisions, and action. So thank you for including me in this day. Thank you for the good work that you've done with Nuix Technologies and for the important work that we're all doing together today. But thank you in particular for the actions that you will take in the future, powered by what Nuix can do to support your own missions. Thank you.